time when I slow down. And it's my time to myself. It's the ceremony. I just love that moment. I watch the sun come up and I journal and I read and it's my time to just connect and get my shit together, really, to carry on with our very busy life. It just started as a curiosity. It's a classic Sitza move. Sitza ordered green beans from Toronto and pulled out the Whirly Pop popcorn machine and started barbecuing, roasting the beans on the barbecue. And it was just fun as hell. So we were just YouTubing and learning, and then they were pulling it off. And for Sitza, it was the craft, and for me, it was the humans, and then the gathering, and I loved all that. And Sitza just looked at me one day and he said, Wolf Island needs a coffee roaster. I was like, all right, good idea. Like, that's awesome. And so we jumped in. Coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. Coffee producers do not fare as well as oil producers. And so I had a heart attack because we invested our entire life into this adventure, and I thought, and we were like, oh, okay, how we do business really matters here. I mean, it always matters, but this feels like it really matters because it's not done well generally. What's our ripple effect? How do we do that beyond that? So how we package our coffee and the beans we choose and the importer we use and how do we do this better, all the time better?
The fruit.
Yep. Oh wow. Oh fun. Can you see, Jen? You need to get in here. Yeah.
Okay,
So in November of last year, I went down to Guatemala. I had my worldview rocked hard. And so we meet these amazing women, and there's, I'm going to say about approximately 15. And they hosted us for the day, and they took us to the closest coffee plot. It was 45 minutes along the side of a mountain. There's a little processing place where they can depulp and then dry the beans. And then, of course, harvesting is over several days or weeks or whatever. And then they load those beans into these bags, leather strap over their heads, and then they walk those bags back up to the village. I was like,
I feel like that's several trips.
Oh yeah.
So many people,
Right.
Yeah.
So then in terms of the price that's being paid for coffee and the labor that's required, this does not seem like a
Have an
money-making
orange.
business.
we should be paying $200 for a bag of coffee. Like, this is wild. So, that day, we committed to this farm. We settled on a price, whatever that made them happy, and we paid them in advance. So that means that if the landslide comes through because of, during the wet season, because of deforestation, we don't get coffee, but they still get paid, and they can plant the next year, so they can keep going. And that feels amazing. I feel that, to me, feels right. For Sitza, it's the craft, it's the art, he says the roasting process is simple, but not easy. The work is to, you get these excellent coffees, it's to pull the flavors out of those beans. And they're not all the same, Africans, they're not the same as beans from South America or Costa Rica or whatever. So, so that's the work and the play. I just like the results. I don't want to see a graph. I don't care about spreadsheets. I don't want any of that. I want the experience, and then I get to share it when I'm with our customers. So he's like back of the house and I'm front of the house. I like the humans. To be a part of the journey with other people when we're at markets and experiencing that with them, to play with people and say, you know, they're like, I like a really dark roast. And I'll be like, okay, sample this. And they'll be like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm like, that's a medium light roast. And they're like, what? And mind's blown. I'm like, isn't that amazing? Like, I love that. And then they get to play too. You know, it is about time. You know, people take that time over coffee to go deeper into their experiences and sharing them and being curious. You see your friends, you're like, oh, hey, how you doing? I see you in the market, that's so awesome, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, hey, we should have coffee. Great. And then you sit down and be like, okay, so I heard this and I want to know more about that. And are you okay? And what happened here? And how is this person? And da-da-da-da-da. And do you need any support? What would help look like? Whatever. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I can't wait to see you do that. That's what you do when you're having a coffee. You sit down and you're getting the juice, right? You wanna hear those deets from your people. I love that. I don't wanna have small talk. I'm not interested in small talk. I want the juice. I want the deets. I want the experience. I wanna learn. I want to encourage. That's what people do over coffee. It's amazing. I guess it's a sense of play with Haymakers and a sense of community. I believe that if you do well, I do well, and connection. I value the connections I make, whether it's over, you know, serving coffee at the market, or the time that I get with my kids, or the time I get with myself. That connection matters, and that to me is, you know, creating those opportunities with Haymakers to create those experiences, you know, that bring out the joy and ease and a ripple effect that matters, you know, that makes change. So I would love that if that's what people thought when they had Haymakers coffee.